prayed, and I prayed, and I prayed.
What happens when life gives you a bad deal? Do you quit or do you keep on going? You are now watching Young, Dumb, and Thriving.
Hey everyone, welcome back to Young, Dumb, and Thriving. Today you are here with Charmaine and our very special guest, Jose Padilla. So go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hello. So I was born and raised in Chula Vista, California, bouncing back between Tijuana, Mexico, and San Diego, just going to school. My childhood was kind of like crossing every single day, going to school, going back. Since I can remember, my life has always been go, go, go. You know, eventually got to stay in the States. I'm the oldest of 5 kids, so yeah, my dad was a truck driver, always on the road. So I was, as the oldest one, I always had to be kind of like the one there at the house, you know. I remember there was this one point where I was in high school, my brother was in middle school, my sister was in elementary school, we had a toddler and a newborn, and my grandmother that was staying with us. So yeah, my house was just hectic, you know. So eventually, once I got to like high school, I started getting a little bit in trouble. So eventually I made my way into this law enforcement explorer program in San Ysidro, where I got to meet, my advisors were all former Marines, so
that's cool.
I had no clue what to do in my life or what the military was. I'm first generation in the U.S., so they kind of guided me through and asked me what I wanted to do, and they asked me if I wanted to try out the Marine Corps. So eventually, as soon as I turned 18, I was out, you know. Yeah. So at first they tried signing at 17, and my parents, you know, super stubborn, like first generation Mexican. So they're like, no, you're not going to join the military.
Right.
I came in here so you could go to school, blah, blah. So eventually I turned 18, and the very next day I showed up with a shirt and a paper that said, hey, I'm leaving in 2 months. So that was the beginning. Ever since I was 18 years old until now, I did almost 8 years in the Marine Corps.
So what do you think prepared you the most to be a businessman? Was it having a lot of siblings, being the oldest of them, or just always being on the go?
Yeah, I think just the sense of responsibility since I can remember. Even I went from like not even knowing it when I was younger until I joined the Marine Corps. Then all of a sudden you're like 20 years old and you're responsible for a lot of money worth of gear, a lot of money, a lot of people, and I think right before I opened this taco shop, I spent the whole year in Afghanistan advising and assisting like the foreign military forces. Yeah. So I was always like, I had to be on the go, and I had to adapt and overcome, do everything on the fly, you know, and ensuring that I'm always learning. So I think that was one of the things that best prepared me. Then, and one of the things that I think I used as a base, because I had no guidance whatsoever of what a business is like. So I used the Marine Corps has 11 leadership principles, which I started using, and I went from there and I started tailoring it into. I started tailoring it into like what the actual business is like, you know, because I can't just have I can't just expect employees to do the same that you are in the military, you know. So over there you have to be there. Here they could just quit and I'm out. I don't care about your business. So you have to like kind of create this atmosphere where they like to be there.
So you mentioned that you had a taco shop, you got into the military, you were first generation of your family to even be in the United States. So what is everything that you were handling and you were juggling at the same time as running your business?
So when I first started the business, I was actually still in Afghanistan when I was about to when I was doing all the paperwork and everything. I was about to come back, and I had a little bit of extra cash to invest, and I didn't know what I needed to invest it in. And my cousin called me, and he said, "Hey man, I have this idea. I need a business partner, and then I need funds, right?" Yeah. So, and I told him like, "Hey man, I have no clue what the food industry is like," and he's like, "Don't worry, I'll help you out, and you just gonna Like, I'll take care of the food and the customer service.
And you're the business
aspect. Yeah, and you just take care of all the paperwork and all the back end. So I said, oh, well, I know nothing about taxes. I know nothing about payroll, nothing about that. But you know what? I had like 2 days to think about it. I really thought about it, and I said, hey, you know what? Like, there's no better time to do it right now, you know. So I just jumped right into it. I came back to the States the end of November, and I started December 2nd.
Doing the taco shop.
Yes. Okay. So I just hit the ground running, and I started learning.
So you had a business and you were working at the same time outside of your business.
Yes. I think I wouldn't have been able to handle just having that as my primary source of income, because it takes a while to actually get returns, right? So like to get money in return. So I had my full-time job in Camp Pendleton, California as a contractor, and I was going to full-time school for Homeland Security at National University. So I was pretty much I was working at night. So on my night shift, I would kind of get some school done, get off at 5 in the morning, get a quick workout in, go all the way down to Barrio Logan, get all my supplies and everything, show up at my house with my cousin was there sleeping at 9:30 in the morning. I would load everything up to his truck. I go to sleep for a few hours. He goes to start everything. I wake up like around 4, and I go straight to the taco shop to help him out. At like 7:30ish, I'll change over. I used to call it my Superman suit.
Yeah.
Like I told my employees,
Superman suit.
I was like,
that's a lot.
Because because that was just like with my employees, I was like, hey, you guys, like, this is what we have to do to like, to get this thing rolling, you know, because they knew that it was just us, you know.
Right.
My cousin's 23 and I was 25 at the time, 25 at the time. So it was like, hey man, you guys are, I get it, you guys are like 10 years older, but like we're gonna work together and get this done. So
it's safe to say that it was a lot for you.
Yeah, it was
kind of a lot of pressure to handle.
If I think it was juggling everything the right way, you know, and if, you know, there's always things that go wrong. So like, whenever something was a little bit wrong on one thing, it kind of unbalanced everything.
Yeah.
So, or like, I tried to take my social life out a little bit. That way I could kind of
focus
on those three. But sometimes the social life kind of like
messed up
a little bit. Now you gotta turn that way, and now this thing moves. You know, so it's just kind of going like this with everything. So.
Got it. So your hand was just like in everything. So what would be your advice to someone who's like you, first generation in the United States? You're young, you want a business because you want to be successful in life. So what would be your advice to them?
I think my advice is my advice would be stop thinking about, like, especially if you're first generation in the United States, you want to show that you're being successful at something, you know, like, hey, I'm making money. Tell your people in Mexico that, hey, you know what, or wherever country, like, hey, I'm doing good. I came here. I'm doing better. But I think, especially this generation, we're so used to the flex culture of like, hey man, like, hey, I made some extra cash. Let me buy my freaking $500 shoes or like this really nice car. And I think if you have like your parents are able to support you financially and everything, I think you can afford to do that. But if you don't and you're starting from scratch, save the money. Save as much money you can, and then take a risk. Yeah. So take the risk of that money that you invested, and just kind of go with it. And if you have no one to pull, you have no one to like look to for whatever idea that you have, find somebody. Yep. You know, the person that helped me the most was my accountant. I never knew the man in my life, and ended up being a really special person.
That's awesome. So on your journey, you found somebody to help mentor you and kind of guide you along the way. Yes. Because like you said, you started from scratch. So you didn't know anything. And I feel like a lot of people, like how you said, this is a flex culture. So a lot of people, even though they don't know what to do or how to run a business, they automatically want to try and broadcast to people like, oh, I have a business. But then you're just like, but do you know what you're doing in it? You know, it's not just for the flex. So I love that you said that. And then another thing I loved is that you said you found somebody along the way, because sometimes you can't turn to people who are the closest to you because they might not know, you know, and they might want to help, but they don't know.
Yes, like for example, like my dad, I love the man to death. Yeah. Like, he's always been into work until you die, you know, like work and spend your money because you work for it. So then, like, you never actually get to have anything, you know. So actually, up to this day, he never showed up to my place because he didn't believe it. I guess he's just like, why are you spending all this money? When I showed him my idea, he's like, why are you spending all this money and you don't even know if it's gonna work, you know?
So you would say that. So for you, right, that would kind of be a downfall. somebody not supporting you who you look up to, right?
Yeah, in a way, but I think it's part of the challenge, you know.
Yeah.
Like, once someone tells you no, it's kind of like automatically you're like, what do you mean no? And
Right,
you
and
just
you
kind
do
of
it.
get more drilled into whatever you're doing. So
I just love your spirit, because usually when people see some opposition like that, they're like, oh man, like they get down, like not even my father believes in me. But I love how you're like, Dad, what? No? Oh, watch.
Yeah,
You know,
watch.
so that's amazing. So we're gonna move on to the next segment. All right, guys, so we are here right now during game time. And like I said earlier, what his game is he has 4 cups, 1, 2, 3, 4. In each cup, there is a word. If he makes it in that cup, he has to explain what that word means for him. Go ahead.
all right. I'm not the best at beer pong,
You got
so I
this.
haven't done this
Woo!
in like 10 years.
Here, let me take off my jacket for you, just so you can get more
All right,
comfortable.
I'm ready.
Oh, you got
There
one.
you go.
Okay. Go ahead, keep going. This beer pong. You don't do it till the end.
All right.
Okay, I see you going for the middle one.
All right.
Maybe you should try the side again, because it bounced. Almost.
Hold on, I got some more coffee.
So far, he got one. He has one
All
cup. Oh, I thought that was in.
That was in the right direction.
I really
so-
thought that
All
was
right,
in.
this one's going.
Okay, so we're gonna do this one too because he knocked it over. Okay, knocked it over. Okay, Jose. So go ahead and explain what those words mean to you.
So just pick your one. All right. So the word I got is leadership. I think leadership is everything, because whenever you're, especially in a business, well, pretty much everywhere, right? But in the aspect of business, I think you have to be that leader to like make sure that everybody's on the same page. You know, everybody feels included. Just because it's your business, not everyone's gonna have the same drive as you, because
Right.
it's not their business. You know, so you got to make sure that you make them feel welcome. You work with them, so like try to get close to everybody. You know, try to get close to people and ask them about their life, because sometimes instead of getting mad because they're just being slow, or they're just not getting it, maybe they got something going on, maybe there's something you could help them out with. And if they're happy, then you're happy, because if they're happy, they're making money, you know?
Right.
So that's my take on
I
it.
love. Let me just pause you right there, because first of all, I love that definition. Because to me, one, it sounds like you're a Marine. It just that just stuck out. But then it also sounds like no, that's just from who you are. And maybe the Marine Corps helped out a little bit with that answer, but it makes me just feel so empowered, because it's like you're looking out for your employees. And usually businesses are all about like, give me my money, my money, my money, my money. Like, I don't care if your mom just died yesterday. I don't care if you're going through it. I don't care if you're sick. You better give me my money. And the fact that you're like, no, you need to know your employees. You need to know what they're going through. To me, that's awesome. That's amazing. I just love it. Next. Go ahead. Next.
All right, so the next word is balance. To me, balance is something I've been dealing with for the past year. So you have to, I think, for balance and prioritizing things that come hand in hand, because you got to keep your sanity.
Right.
You know, sometimes you just want to like hustle, and you say, hey, I want to do this by 30. You know, everyone has their goals, and you say, hey, I think I'm running out of time, and I need to do this, this, and that. But at the end of the day, you have to balance yourself to keep your sanity and to do things well. Because if you're just prioritizing everything, then nothing's at priority, and then you don't do everything 100%. You know, you're kind of like, for example, me, I was doing school, work, and the business. So at one point, I had to like not give 100% in school. You know,
Right.
so I was going with the whole C's get degrees type thing, and then same with work, and then so I had to prioritize and actually see what actually is gonna push me towards what I actually want to do in my life.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Well, Jose, I want to say thank you so much for coming on the show and just basically giving your advice and giving your guidance as to how you did your route in your life and how you started your business. And just by you being young, I just want to point out that's something amazing and something to look up to, which is why I feel he is an inspirational individual. Because he's doing a lot at once, but then he realized himself, like, I have to balance life. And so that's why I asked you to be on the show. Because I know in the beginning you're like, well, he's like, well, I don't really know, because I don't really talk in front of people like that. But I mean, I'm not shy, so I'll do it. And I just wanted to point out to him, like, you are incredible. you know, and you really are a role model to someone. First of all, I've known you from the military, and I didn't even know you were first generation in the United States. So it's something that I learned about you, and I think that is amazing to come to a new place and then dominate it, you know, and just your drive and your go-getter mindset. And that's probably why we're both Marines. I don't know, maybe,
Yeah.
but like I think that's incredible. And so I have something for you. Like I'm not a good rapper, just so you know. Like I tried,
Okay.
but yes.
Thank you so much.
And is there any last comments you want to say to anybody watching? Like, would there be anything left?
No, I mean, thank you for having me here, and thanks to everyone for watching.